Welcome to Coffee Break with Rachel V. Hill, presented by Superbook Sports. Taking a daily look at the biggest stories in Denver sports and interacting live with you, the Coffee Break fam. So sit back, relax, grab a cup of joe, and enjoy your coffee break. Here's your host, Rachel V. Hill.
Is Coffee Break. I am not Rachel V. Hill. That is not Rachel V. Hill, but it is D-Mac, a regular on Coffee Break. Did you see Rachel kind of rubbing it in your face yesterday?
A little bit, yeah.
She's up in Alaska on Will Peterson, by the way. Appreciate you guys joining us. She's on a cruise, man. We're here in Denver.
Yeah, she said the summer's over, and then 5 days later, she went on an Alaskan cruise. So it looked beautiful up there.
It did.
I don't know what inlets she was at, but, maybe she was waving at Mark Schlereth's relatives. And, no, she looked great. And then she tried to engage in the Russell Wilson conversation.
Right. It was like, you know what? If summer's not over, maybe just go enjoy your cruise, and then we'll let Russ know how he's doing when you're back.
I asked her, I said, are you going to be able to stay away from it? And, well, Rachel, I guess the answer is no. No. We left her alone.
Yes.
We weren't bugging her.
No.
But she, let's face it, when you're with your significant other for, just you and that person for 3 days, day 4, you start getting a little itchy.
Yeah, you start checking the Twitter machine, and the Twitter machine is blowing up, D-Mac, because all it took was a little bit of time, but it appears Russell Wilson is now cooking in Sean Payton's offense. At least that's what Andrew Mason told me at denversports.com. Would you agree with that assessment? Russell Wilson, now Chef Russ, he's cooking.
He's doing good. He had a good day yesterday, on and off the field. Congratulations to Russ and Sierra.
Yes, that was exciting.
Their new baby coming relatively soon. So, it was good. It's sort of a weird deal. It was like very fine lines yesterday. So there was one play where it goes through Damari Mathis' hands, and Jerry Jeudy makes a great catch.
Okay.
Damari Mathis catches that. It's a pick six.
Right.
Okay. And then we're in the 2-minute drive.
And we're having a whole different conversation, probably.
Correct.
Because throwing pick sixes is not good. That's what he's doing to Justin Simmons last week.
Correct. So, and then we're in the 2-minute drive, and they're doing well. 3rd and 8, needs a big play, and he rolls to his right, and he hits Marvin Mims, and it's like, whoa, all right, that's a really, really good play, and later scores a touchdown. Well, you go back and watch it, and thank God for our citizen reporters out there that are filming everything on the Hill.
Yes.
So you go back and watch, and you're like, oh, Randy Gregory was coming right up the middle, and was that a sack? Because obviously he's not going to hit Russell Wilson.
Right.
And so you have a good day for Russ, but it's like hinging on a couple of weird things. That being said, it's much more consistent. He's making more consistent plays. They're figuring things out better. They're just simply staying away from more or less the middle of the field and the things that give him a hard time. But yesterday was concerning too, because you lost both tackles. You didn't lose Bowles. They're just sort of managing him.
Yep.
But you really did lose Mike McGlinchey when they were doing 9-on-7, which we now know is a sprained knee. Expect to keep him out for a couple of weeks.
Yep. Mike Kliss from 9 News, our 104.3 The Fan Insider, did report that, 2 to 3 weeks on McGlinchey. Ankle sprain for Brandon Johnson, who's now the number 3 wide receiver on the team. Probably going to cost him a week or two as well. Man, they sort of dodged a bullet in a sense, though, right, D-Mac? Because that was the I'm getting the panic text from Mason James. They were our reps down there yesterday. I'll be down there today of, Johnson down. McGlinchey down. Like, it sort of had that feeling of like, okay, please don't tell me a cart's coming out. That kind of stuff. Like, they go down within minutes of each other. At that moment in time, if I had said to you, both are going to be ready for week 1, you probably would have exhaled and said, okay, good.
Yeah, it was weird how when the Johnson injury looked much more serious because he was down for quite a long time and they had to move the drill around him a little bit. McGlinchey just he got up and he was just kind of limping a little bit, and he went sort of to the back of the line to where they were working out. And you were like, I think, he could probably just shake that off, that sort of thing. And it was McGlinchey who went to the building first before Johnson. Johnson actually got up and was kind of walking around and even jogging a little bit. And then it wasn't working. And he limped off into the building after McGlinchey. So on the surface, it was, I think Brandon Johnson's worse. And now it turns out it's actually McGlinchey. However, like you said, it looks just to be a couple week thing for both guys,
Yes.
if not shorter for Brandon Johnson.
And in the grand scheme, you'll take it because last time we saw a guy limp off, I watched it with my own 2 eyes. I watched Jonas Griffith limp off.
Yeah.
And next thing we know, that's an ACL. So limping off doesn't mean they're okay.
When he limped off, though, he was like holding on to a trainer the entire time. Like there definitely looked like there was going to be something maybe a little bit more serious, but he did walk off.
Yeah.
He did walk off on his own 2 feet. So now you don't have McGlinchey, Bowles, they're resting.
Ugh.
Your tackles are quiz time. Who are the tackles right now?
Cam Fleming.
That's one. That's the easy one.
That's the easy one.
Trust me, I had to look it up.
Yeah, I mean,
It didn't roll off the tongue.
they cut the kid who was getting blown up, and remember very early on there was the kid getting passed by Benito and Gregory, and he's gone. So you're gonna have to fill me in.
It's Isaiah Prince.
I would not have gotten Isaiah Prince. You could have spotted me the Isaiah. I wouldn't have gotten the Prince. You could have spotted me the Prince, and I wouldn't have gotten the Isaiah.
Me too. I had to trust me. It was a lot of okay, who?
Yeah.
But Isaiah Prince at right tackle. So the curse of the Broncos right tackle, it's you're feeling it a little bit. It's not like McGlinchey was having some banner days out there.
No.
So he was having his own hard time.
But you paid him to have banner days on Sundays.
There's
I mean,
no doubt
you paid
about
him the money that, it may not look great in camp, but come Sunday, it's always funny, D-Mac, because with the offensive line, you know what the biggest thing is we don't notice them, right?
Right.
So I would love to do a post-game show with you after week 1. We don't talk about Mike McGlinchey at all because you know what? That means he had a good day.
Well, that would be wonderful. And it does pose an interesting question because Sean Payton has said they're going to play 15 to 18 plays, the starters. Okay, are you sure? Because now you don't have your 2 starting tackles.
Yep.
Wasn't the point of playing these guys in the first place to get rhythm all together? Well, if the guys that, are you really going to play Bowles, who you've been kind of, been careful with? And so if you're not going to play these guys or they're a little bit hampered, do you really want to play Russell Wilson for 15 to 18 plays? Because what if Randy Gregory on Friday night, it's Friday night, and, we'll find out if Russell Wilson's going to get sacked or not on that play.
Well, and I've got a wrinkle for you. Did you catch this yesterday? There are some players down in Arizona with the Cardinals complaining about the turf.
Yes.
And remember, D-Mac, they played the Super Bowl there, and the turf was a big story. It was a big issue. Guys were slipping all over the place, and they had said they had grown it for 2 years or something ridiculous, and it was the worst surface in the history of a Super Bowl. And now it sounds like they still don't have it fixed. That scares me that if guys, that turf monster, we know that turf monster can grab ankles, can grab knees, can grab ligaments. That scares me for Friday night, if I'm just being honest.
Arizona in the Glendale Dome has a very unique situation. The grass, the whole field, if you can picture this, is on rollers. They roll the entire field outside to give it sunlight and then roll it back in. Well, okay, but they're still in a desert, and I'm sure they water it.
Yeah.
And I don't know when the good times or the bad times are, but I've been in Glendale in Arizona in August, Will, and it's not pleasant. So I really don't know what's going on. And it's interesting because they do have a training facility. But again, how the heck do you practice in Arizona when it's like 112 degrees?
They practice on the playing surface in the stadium.
So they go there for training camp. But that's just one field. The Broncos have 3 fields to sort of move everything around to. Yeah, it doesn't really set up for a great situation. It sort of begs the question, why are you even dealing with real grass anyways for a dome? Why don't you have some sort of blended something or other?
Well, and if your turf is bad in August and if your turf is bad in February, when is your turf good? Because if it was craptastic at the Super Bowl and it's going to cause an injury on Friday night, knock on wood, then is it ever a good time to play football in Arizona on this real grass?
It's a great question. I don't have an answer for that. And it never, I don't know how you got to get stinking here. I know they have golf courses in Arizona.
Right.
But you're not using cleats and doing wind sprints on them.
You're not worried about busting your ACL on a golf course. At least I hope not.
Oh, no. I mean, it's meant to give divots and whatever. So I'm not saying you can't grow grass in the desert. You obviously can. But it's been interesting. So, yes, Will, there's a lot of questions about what you're doing. And I do wonder if it will change things for Friday night for Sean Payton. And listen, I would reserve the right and give him a full pass on changing things due to the existing situations and not hold him accountable for what he said a few days ago when things were different.
Especially if that first series, if Cortland Sutton comes off the field or Jerry Jeudy comes off the field and says, Coach, my cleats just won't catch. I'm slipping around. This is dangerous. Sean may say pulling the plug on everyone because I'm not going to lose a player because Arizona can't figure out how to manage their turf.
We'll see what happens, but then you go for the defense. Well, Justin Simmons been out like 4 days, and I don't think it's anything all that serious. We've seen Justin on the side, and he looks okay. So, again, why bother pushing something with guys that you're going to need? Some guys need it, and some guys don't. Justin Simmons could play in an NFL game tomorrow. Pat Surtain, Randy Gregory, probably Frank Clark, a bunch of guys, right? So what do they need this game for? And the answer is they really don't. What you kind of need it for is the coordination of just the team itself, the coaches. How do we do things all together for a new coaching staff? That's as important as anything. But you can sort of figure that out with all the subs and, other guys who do need the game. Listen, I'm all for the starters playing in terms of my enjoyment watching the game.
Of course.
But I've got some serious questions today because of the past couple days about what you're going to do. And I do wonder how they're thinking about that in Sean Payton lands.
Yeah, no, I do too. Obviously, he can say 15-18 and reserve the right to change his mind. But just for this conversation, let's say it's 15-18. I've heard some chatter on 104.3 The Fan and on Orange and Blue Today and on Coffee Break, but I want to get your perspective on it. How critical is it to you? Not that they just score, the first team offense, not that they just score, but that they score a touchdown on Friday night.
Oh, I don't think it's important at all, to be honest. What needs to happen, if anything needs to happen, and this is some irony, because I did watch Hard Knocks with the Jets.
Okay.
And Nathaniel Hackett. I'm a sucker for that show, and I've watched every episode all these years.
Can you give us the 30-second, 45-second recap for those who missed it? Because a lot of us don't have HBO.
Okay.
What was, I guess, most interestingly, did the Broncos come up at all?
I'll give you even a 5-second recap.
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers is awesome. Nathaniel Hackett is goofy. And there you go.
Okay.
But Nathaniel Hackett is trying to do much more serious sort of things. My kid is FaceTiming me from Italy.
Do you need to take it?
I don't know. He makes me nervous. Should we talk to my kid from FaceTime from Italy?
Sure, let's do
coffee
it.
break. All right. Hey Dylan, we're doing coffee break right now. I'm working. I know you're in Italy. How are you? Will, you want to do some play-by-play?
I think everything's okay. He appears to be in a very nice, what is that, a museum? Hotel?
Dylan, where are you, Dylan?
I'm in St. Peter's Basilica. It's like the world's largest church.
He's in the world's most famous church on Coffee Break Live.
Well, let me call you a little bit later because I'm actually working. I love you, though, pal.
Love you too.
Okay, bye. And there you go.
And it appears everything is okay in the McKee household. That probably made you a little nervous for a moment, but he just wanted to show you the world's biggest church.
You get a call from your kid when he's in Italy. You get a little, but there you go. That's an exclusive to Coffee Break. My son still doesn't know when I work.
Yeah, but it's what is it, like 5 p.m?
I in Italy?
Yeah. They're like 8 hours ahead of us.
Yeah, who knows?
He's on a tour. He's probably had a glass of wine or two. He's going to see the church. Like, good for him.
A glass
right?
of wine or two.
What, wouldn't you if you were in Italy?
He did turn 21 on Sunday.
Well, and I think the drinking age in Italy is about 12, so I think he would have been okay. I think he would have been okay either way.
All right, coffee break. You never know.
Coffee break. You never know.
You never know.
Right, where were we? Hard Knocks. Hackett's a goofball.
Rodgers is awesome. Everybody loves Rodgers, and Hackett's a bit of a goofball. They spent about 2 minutes on the whole Sean Payton sort of deal. And they were throwing footballs at not cones, but pylons. So they got a game where they throw footballs at pylons, and right before somebody throws, the rule is you can try to distract the person. So as Hackett's about to throw a football, Aaron Rodgers goes, Sean Payton. Ooh. And then they kind of go through ha, and Hackett was like, oh, good one. And then they kind of go through very quickly the whole thing.
Okay.
But that being said, there's definitely, I think some people are going to watch Hard Knocks, and I think we're about to have a little non-buyer's remorse.
Oh, I do too.
I think we're going to see what it could have been. And yeah, Aaron Rodgers looks great. So when we do the Russometer, is he good? Is he great? Whatever. Yeah, he's great. But it's kind of like he's great because of how lousy things started. So is he great, or is he great from where? But he's great. I mean,
we're doing Russell Meter right now.
He was great.
He was great yesterday.
But it's like a relative great. So how is he compared to like how you should be?
Right.
I think he's okay. I think he's where he should be. So I don't think it's spectacular, but I think it's where a guy who's doing what he's doing, what makes his money, and who he is. I mean, I would hope that his expectations are right where he's performing right now.
Yeah.
And the bigger question is, well, why did it get off to such a rough start? And is this sustainable? But let's not forget, how many days in a row are we going without Justin Simmons out there?
It is an amazing correlation, D-Mac, that the second Justin Simmons was no longer at practice, Russell Wilson started looking better and better and better. I think that shows you how good of a safety Justin is, because it's way too coincidental to ignore. Let's put it that way, right?
Yeah, it begs the question, is Justin Simmons the most important player for the Broncos defense?
He might be.
It's crazy.
Because Surtain is the best, but there's a difference between best and most important, right?
Absolutely. And also, what do they really do? Justin Simmons is patrolling the entire field. Yep. And Surtain, I always laugh about, he shuts down half the field. Not really. He shuts down little pieces of the field depending on where the receiver is. He doesn't shut down half the field. If Devontae Adams is going to the corner, well, he's shutting down the corner of the field or that little part of the field.
Well, he was attempting to. I mean, we all saw how overtime went last year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, you kind of served that one up on a platter for me, D-Mac. That was not his best moment. So
in Justin Simmons, not only is Justin Simmons sort of surveying everything in front of him, but he's also the leader. He's calling, he's sort of in charge of that secondary unit too. And I mean, Justin Simmons has a read on Russell Wilson like you can't believe.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he knows Russell Wilson. So Surtain's incredible. I'm not trying to put down Surtain, but Surtain has been there for the past few days, and Justin Simmons hasn't. And it just has been much better. Now, is that just the offense clicking? And they'd still be clicking even if Simmons were there? Well, we don't know. So it's an interesting thing to just sort of keep an eye on. And hey, props to Justin Simmons. Like he looks better in his absence.
He does. All right, we're going to go full circle here because I asked you a question and then we went to Italy and then we talked about Hard Knocks and now we did Russell Meter. So we're going to get back to my question that you had a different take than I did on it. Yeah. You don't think it matters if they score a touchdown on Friday night, the first team offense?
Yeah, I think what matters is communication. That's where I was getting to. Thank you, Will.
Yes.
And if you watch Hard Knocks, the one thing Hackett is telling the offensive unit is communication. Communication. It's all about communication. And our guy, Matt Smith, found a video that is like communication, and it's just like one mistake after another with the Broncos.
It was well edited by Matt, yes.
I would say this, though. I think that's right. I think that's the most important thing to figure out. So as long as things are being put in smoothly and executed relatively smoothly and it's effective, like they don't score a touchdown, I'm not going to be that bothered if everything else is going relatively efficiently. If they do, cool. But I also don't want to see 3 and outs.
No,
I want to see some sort of progression of, good things and good elements. So I'm very curious how it'll all translate. The Cardinals are a terrible team, so who knows where they're at. So I am looking forward to Friday night, but I'm not putting too much into it because at the end of the day, Hackett was right about one thing, more than one thing, but one thing. These preseason games, you got to get to the start line. Yep. And the best way to get to the start line is to have the healthiest team possible. The problem that Hackett had, and maybe the problem is with the Broncos, with the new organization, is when you are all new and you haven't communicated together, how are you going to do that unless you actually do it? And to be thrown in the fire in a regular season game, especially against teams that have been together for a little bit, can be challenging. But the first two games for the Broncos are the Raiders and the Commanders.
Got to start 2-0.
I agree. Yeah. And so, again, you're facing two teams that don't have their acts really together. So maybe you couldn't get a better start. So, again, how much are you going to extend yourself in preseason? I don't think there's a significant definitive answer. I think Vance Joseph talked about that yesterday. If you do it, you're going to get them hurt. If you don't do it, they're not prepared. It's like you can't win in preseason, which is why, Will, in all honesty, I think they should just get rid of preseason. Mm-hmm. I think they should do joint practices and maybe a controlled scrimmage at a stadium.
Yeah,
I think they should just get rid of it. You get more out of the joint practices anyways, and just be done with it and have one night where you can sell tickets at your stadium and then you go on the road for something else. That's it.
Broncos will have joint practices with the Rams coming up, not this week, but next. So those will be interesting to watch. Let's do hot or not, though, D-Mac, because I want to talk about who's hot, who's not for the Broncos right now. I think hot, I'm going to go with Marvin Mims, right?
That's where I was going to go.
I mean, Marvin Mims was disappearing the first week of camp, and then yesterday has the long catch from Russ. Fill us in on what we missed if folks weren't out there yesterday.
Well, you totally stole my thunder. That's exactly where I was going to go.
I said the name. I'll let you do the explanation.
Well, you're that's two great minds.
Yes, there it is.
Two bodies that can't tan. It's
all the palest coffee break of all time.
Yeah, Mims, as it's not just that one play, and he's out there obviously with the first team to make that play. He's had just better receiving moments, period, in 7-on-7 and 1-on-1. All of a sudden you're seeing a guy who's much more comfortable, which is really good to see. And of course, they want him to be their punt return guy. But it's really interesting, Will, because Montrell Washington is having a great camp. He's making plays too. He's not being given the same opportunities as Mims right now, but every time he's out there, he does nothing but make plays. So it's a really interesting situation. And then if you want to throw another guy kind of into the mix, that's Taylor Grimes, like how he would mix with everything. So you've got three really interesting guys, and hopefully everybody can stay healthy.
Don't tell Brandon Stokely that Taylor Grimes is a young Brandon Stokely.
Yeah, he seems to not like that for some reason.
I did that on air, and he was actually annoyed with me, and I was like, oh, he didn't like that joke. And he goes put some respect on my name or something.
Well,
I was like, okay, I didn't say that Taylor Grimes is going to play in the NFL for 15 years. I just said there may be some similarities. And I threw the name Wes Welker out there too. And he said, put some respect on Wes's name. So,
for Stokely was a 3rd-round draft pick.
Yes.
And he played in the league for 15 years.
Yes.
So if he's going to get a little prickly about an undrafted free agent from Incarnate Word, which is in Texas, by the way.
I was going to say trivia.
I mean, I kind of get where he's coming from. We may be just making some crazy stereotypes just based on, looks.
Yes.
But we give our guy Stoke a hard time about certain things, but hey man, that dude was a dude in the NFL.
No, you cannot dispute his resume. And sorry, Brandon, if I hurt your feelings. I was just trying to have a little fun, and there was no fun to be had there. So I know to stay away from it now.
Okay.
Let's go. Who's not hot out at Broncos training camp right now? Anyone who's just kind of jumping out to you is blah. I have a name. Do you want to hear my name, or do you not want me to steal your name?
No, go. I don't really have somebody right now.
I mean, where's the Albert O that was the guy who Jerry Rosberg said, why isn't he playing, and had 2 great games, week 17 and 18 against the Chiefs and the Chargers. I thought this was going to be an Albert O camp. Even Sean Payton had said, why was that dude not playing? And D-Mac, I personally haven't seen anything out of Alberto.
Yeah, that's a good pickup too. So here's where Alberto was yesterday for a chunk of time on kickoff return, trying to figure out special teams. And with the red cap on, and he's, I don't know, so the L3, I don't know, whatever they are, the special teams language. And he was out there with special teams because he's got to find his way on to special teams and contribute there too if he's going to make this team. He's been a little better, okay? A little better. They've been finding him a little bit more often. There is an interesting setup where they use him and Dulcich at the same time, which is a really interesting look.
I would love that.
And it can create problems, but it's not like it's the biggest deal in the world. I think they try out a lot of things in training camp, a lot of different mixtures of people. So who's not Alberto? Yeah, man. I mean, it's interesting because Troutman's going to make the team, Manhurst is going to make the team, and Dulcich is going to make the team.
Correct.
Period. And then you have a fullback this year who definitely is going to make the team.
Michael Burton.
Michael Burton will definitely make the team. No doubt about it. So there you go.
So as we sit here on August 9th, you're saying Alberto doesn't make the team, or are you just saying keep an eye on it?
I think he is. If there's a vet cut to be had, there's 2. Him and unfortunately maybe Kareem Jackson.
Yeah.
And I like both guys, but those are the 2 biggest name, sort of obvious possible vet cuts. There's always 1 or 2 vet cuts coming out of camp. And right now, I think those two are the leading candidates.
All right, sounds good. Well, we appreciate everyone tuning into Coffee Break. D-Mac and I will both be out at training camp today. D-Mac should be another fun one. A little cooler out there today.
Yeah, and I'll be curious with the game on Friday if they just kind of take it easy today. Not sure, but hey, we'll go out there. We'll find out. We'll tell you all about it.
We'll have a video for you after practice, filling you in on everything you missed. For Matt, for D-Mac, I'm Will. Appreciate everyone tuning in.